Hey everybody, how are you? This is Elisan and welcome to another wonderful conversation with another wonderful lady. Her name is Jeanette. Jeanette Taylor. She is from the US. US is huge. Philadelphia, right?
Yes.
Yes, bingo. I'm from Singapore, so it takes a while for me. I only know LA and New York and Hawaii.
Okay. All right. Well, see, now you got to get to know Philadelphia.
There's the Philadelphia cheese, right? That's what
Yep,
I
that's right.
know. That's the
That's
only thing
right.
I know.
That's right. Cheesecake and cheesesteak.
All right. Okay. I'm watching my waistline now, but yes, Philadelphia cheese is the
Okay.
thing that sticks out in my head. But yeah, I'm so happy to have her here with me because I wanted to talk about organizing. And I know I'm not very organized and I am a very messy person and I actually work better being messy somehow, but I still like being neat and tidy, so there's a contrast within myself, you know. Um, yeah, so tell us more about you, Janet. How did you get started in this very simple, complicated business?
Well, I was working in corporate America, and of course I was working in customer service, and everyone would always tell me how organized everything was because whenever they needed a stapler or anything, they could always come to me and they could get what they needed. And of course, things happened. They started downsizing, and so I came across an article of a woman who would actually go into businesses and teach other people to get organized. And I was like, wow. And so I started doing research, found out there was other women doing it. There was a local chapter of women, national chapter. So that's how it all started. And also at that point in my life, because it was so many years ago, I was going to move out of my mom's house for the first time. I had already made plans, but with that downsizing, I had to put a hold on that. And I decided, you know what, I don't want anybody else to ever have any control over decisions like that in my life ever again. So that's why I started my business.
So how does your mind work? Like, does it work in compartments to be able to know where the stapler is and to where this specific thing? So is your mind working in compartments?
Yes, it does work in compartments because I know where everything is. And for me, during a short period when I had to transition and move, and I was staying with someone else, it was kind of a weird place for me to be because I would want something, but then I would realize, oh, that's right, it's in storage. So I do know where things are, and that's how I function. But I also understand that a lot of people do when they're creative and they're developing things, they do need to have things kind of spread out, but also it helps them when they want to be more productive and effective to be able to just put their hands on things, like even if it's just to make that favorite recipe for the family, or if it's to get that client information. Just today I had a client who I'm going to help, and he was frustrated because he was going through his computer trying to find one document, and it was just driving him crazy. So that organization just kind of helps you reduce stress but save time.
Hmm. So the opposite of organization, organized, I guess, is messy. So is your mind like really neat?
Um,
So what's the difference
I don't.
between your mind and somebody who is disorganized? So
Um, I think my mind. I think because I'm always thinking like organized, like point A to point B, and where this could go effectively. But I don't necessarily think that somebody who is messy doesn't have a system, because there are people out there who may not, and sometimes people think because you're neat, you're organized. It doesn't necessarily mean that. If you can find things the first time you look, then you've got a great system going. But if you're wasting time, or if you can't find an ink cartridge, you bought it, but then you have to jump in the car and run and buy another one, then that's wasting your time and your money. So it's just about having a simple system where you can
mm,
find stuff. But it doesn't necessarily mean I mean, yes, I think differently anyway. My friends tell me that anyway. And even my mother told me that. She told me years ago that a babysitter told her that I refused to eat because my mouth was messy. So she had to wipe my mouth, and she's like, "Oh yeah." And then even people said that my toys were neat, which I don't remember all of that. But I think I'm just one of those people that just likes things in order.
So do you have OCD?
No, actually, I don't. I
Oh,
really don't. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I am fine with things being out of order. And I know that there's sometimes in life when you have to have things out of order. A couple of years ago when I had to have surgery and my girlfriend came to live with me. Now we're complete opposites. So I'm the neat one, she's the not so neat one. And everybody was wondering, well, how did you do it? I says, well, she was in charge of taking care of me and in charge of my home. So I had to let go of certain expectations. It didn't get crazy, but I know when she was at my desk, it was covered with stuff, but I just like, hey, it's okay. So, yeah, but I'm not OCD now. And
mm.
and a lot of people they think when I come into my friend's home that I automatically want to organize things, and I'm not like that either. I when I'm so when
Otherwise,
I
you're going to
come
be
to
really busy. You're going to have a lot of invitations.
because when I come to somebody's home, I'm a guest and I'm not there to work or to judge or anything because I understand people have got kids to raise, businesses to run. Sometimes they're taking care of parents, two parents, and they have a lot of things going on. So sometimes the house, the office, it just gets a little disorganized. And it's just a matter of scheduling time, whether it's weekly or either every couple of weeks, just to
Yeah.
regain control.
So when you look at something, how do you see it? Like you automatically know where to go, what to put. You can see that. So
And
you're a visual person?
yes, because I tell people when they call me in for a consultation, please, I tell them, please do not clean up because I like to see how and where they place things. For example, a lot of people now we've gotten into the habit of taking our shoes off when we come in. And I like to see that because one person had all these shoes, and I said, okay, good. That means you need a system right by your door. Because they were going to straighten everything up. I said, no, I need to see how you function. And it's the
Right.
same way in your workplace. I need to see, if you need things visually, then that means setting up a system so you can see things, or, with your clothes, with things in your home, throughout your home. I like to see how things are because then that tells me, okay, if they need to pile things when they come in the house, then that means they need some type of system. Because one woman came up to me, she's like, I got to change my husband. And I said, well, why? She's like, because he's just a slob. He comes in and just throws everything by the front door. I says, well, have you ever thought about getting some hooks and maybe a little desk or a little table so that when he comes home, he can put his wallet there, he can hang his hat, put his coat. She's like, oh, yeah. I said, see, so you don't have to change him, but you'll be happy and you'll both be happy.
Yeah. So you can say, and you help save relationships too.
I guess.
Yeah. So aside from helping, save a relationship, who hires you? What kind of people hire you
Well, it's
for?
surprisingly, a lot of people hire me who are actually organized themselves. But because they realize their dollar value and what they do, they prefer bringing me in to do it for them. So, because one woman said, I charge $200, $300 an hour, why would I, organize this space when I can just hire Janet to do it for me? And
Hmm.
those are the types of people. Usually they're people who are executives, presidents, um, moms, and they really just want somebody to come in and just really show them a better way, a more effective way of doing things.
So what about for people who are in Singapore? How can you help them then, or help her organize her closet?
Well, with people, I do a lot of virtual. So basically, it's a virtual session where I get to see the space. And sometimes people will send me photos, but I really a lot of times like the narrative videos because that really gives me an idea of what the space looks like. Because if I see the space, then I can show the person or tell the person how they can really better organize and maximize the space that they do have. And sometimes how they can get rid of things that may no longer be useful in their lives.
Hmm. That's a good point. Getting rid of things that may not be useful to their lives. And I think for most people, it's a hard thing to let go, even though they know that it's no longer needed for them.
Yeah, and because statistics says that 80% of the stuff we keep,
We
we
don't.
never reference again, and we wear 20% of our clothes 80% of the time. The rest
So
just hangs
actually,
there.
if you came in and then the person's house might actually become bigger because you start throwing things away.
Mm-hmm.
So does
Yeah.
but does the person do they get like what separation anxiety when you start throwing things their away?
Well, sometimes they do in the beginning, but a lot of times once they begin to see the space and they begin to feel how nice the space is once they get rid of all of that excess stuff and they can really see the beauty of their space. And one woman, once she got rid of a lot of things, she was able to open her home again to her family
So
because
why do
she
you
was
think people
always
hoard?
embarrassed.
Do you think hoarding is a disease? Why do you think people hoard so much?
It could be a lot of different reasons. I mean, I know personally, I held on to my prom dress until I was like 30, but that was because, in high school, I was tall, thin, glasses. They talked about me. So when I went on my prom, I felt popular. So I wanted to hold on to that. So sometimes that's why people hold on to things. And sometimes it could be like a trigger. Like one client I went to, he had toilet paper all over the place. And I couldn't understand why until his wife told me that when he was in the service, it was scarce. So he made a vow that when he came home, his family would never have to want for it. But the thing was that when he saw one roll, it was a trigger in his mind. He had to go out and buy a whole
Right.
case. So I created a system where this is where all the toilet paper is going to go. So then when you see it, so you know that you got enough at least for the next 6 months. So, but sometimes it's just
Wow.
things like that. And then sometimes it's deferring and delaying. We get the mail, sometimes you get the bills. You get to that place sometimes in your life where, oh, I can't pay the bill. So you keep putting it aside, putting it aside, and putting it aside, or that avoidance. So there's a lot of different reasons why people just hold on to things. But it's figuring out that trigger and
Hmm.
then, learning how to overcome it.
So as you said, there's 80%. Is this apply to everybody, every household, that 80% of the stuff we don't use?
I would say it does. I would say, I mean, because I had my own personal stuff in storage for about 2 months. And I was in awe that because when I moved stuff in storage, I'm like, oh, it's going to be in there for maybe a couple weeks. Well, of course, 2 months later, but I was able to manage with like 2 suitcases full of clothes. And I was thinking, wow. And then, I started thinking, I'm like, all of those clothes and all that stuff I had and everything that I thought was important, really, the value changed on
Mm,
everything.
mm,
So I was able to, go through my closet and get rid of a lot of stuff that I just held on to.
yeah, I think so. So you talked about something early on where now it's a busy season for you because people are hiring you because they don't want to end their year disorganized. So let's talk about that. So how can we online entrepreneurs not end the year disorganized? What are the few things that we can actually do to help ourselves?
Well, I think, well, for us in the United States and specifically on the East Coast, we're right now going through that seasonal change. As you can see, I have a sweater on. So I think, of course, when you go through those transitional changes through your closet, this is a great time to really decide honestly with yourself, am I going to wear this in the next few months, in the
You know what
next
my
season?
problem is, Janet? I think I keep clothes because now I put on a little bit of weight and I'm working on it. And
Okay.
so I think
Okay.
to myself, okay, I'm going to lose the weight and I will wear it again. So should I still keep those clothes or not?
Well, knowing just a little bit I do know about you, I think you're the type of person that once you get to that weight, whatever it is, you'll probably go out and probably get something new because you're just, you're going to be walking around. You'll be like, I like that. I'm there, I can fit that now, and I want that. And that's what happens with a lot of people. It's like you feel different about yourself, and you shed that old clothes and those old things. So I mean, I would suggest, first, work on those clothes. I mean, in regards to just things around your home, there's a lot of stuff that, we have, somebody gave us that we really aren't using. There's a lot of people who could use the things that we have. So, I mean, just open your home and your space, because when you do that, you open yourself to receive. A lot of people feel, oh, I need a bigger home, but sometimes all you need is just really how to maximize the space that you already have.
Mm.
So, and then in regards to paperwork, I mean, now we've got shredders, we've got the cloud. Do we really need all of that paperwork? So those are some things. And it's just like taking a little bit at a time. But I'm thinking, really look at one specific area in your home and just decide, what area do I want to feel peace? For me, my bedroom always has to be peaceful. I want to walk in, I want to be able to lay on my bed, sit in a chair, just relax. Is your bedroom your sanctuary? You know, when you walk into the door, are you feeling calm and relaxed because you're entering your home, your haven? Or are you stressed out because your pals are talking to you? Or are you want to, like, just bring more friends and more family into your life? So does that mean your dining room area, your kitchen area, do you need to, like, open up those areas, have places for people to sit and maybe people to eat, etc.? So I think a lot of times it's maybe looking at your life and deciding, well, what do I want? One girlfriend said, oh, she was looking forward to dating somebody, and it just kind of came because I've known her forever. It came out my mouth, and I said, well, my goodness, the man doesn't even have a place to put his shoes if he came over here. So where is, you need to open up space for something like that.
So what I feel like, if that's the case, I mean, most of us who are online entrepreneurs or who are entrepreneurs, we don't need another man. We want more clients. So then in our own
Yeah.
business, we need to make space for that. So
Mhm.
how can we make space in our business for new clients to come in?
Well, first of all, it's probably getting rid of those, because we've all had those clients that just have not worked out, and we may have a file or something still associated with that. You need to get rid of that. And even sometimes partnerships. Sometimes you get into those partnerships, but you need to get rid of that. And you need to make room. So all of those clients that you worked with that maybe you're not going to work with anymore, or that you don't want to work with anymore, get rid of that stuff. Whether you want to keep the documents, put them in the cloud, but get rid of all that physical stuff. And get rid of all, and also those old business cards, those old promotional materials with old numbers, old pictures. You don't want anybody to see anymore. Open yourself up for the new you, the new brand, etc. Just make room. And even one thing I always do is I have a whiteboard, and every now and then I will wipe it clean and start fresh with new ideas.
Mm, mm, mm. Well, for us during Chinese New Year, we do spring cleaning. I think it's the same. Well, I believe it's the same reason, to get rid of the old and to welcome the new. So we do that big spring cleaning during Chinese New Year.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it could be just something as simple as really completely clearing off the desk, wiping it clean, and then only putting things back that really we love and just bring us joy. Because sometimes we
Something what I
all,
realized, like, no matter how much I clear, the next time there's still more to clean. Like, where does these stuff come from? Like, I thought I just cleared a bunch. Does that happen to you?
yes, it does.
Where does
Yeah,
that
and
stuff
that
come
just,
from?
well, that's because because we're involved in a lot of different things. We got a lot of different ideas and plans. So, and it's just a matter of really strategically, at least once a week, scheduling time so you can end your week with a clear desk. Because the reason I say that is because when you begin your new week, you can begin more focused on what you need to do, the task, instead of all the piles that you need to
I'm
clear
just
up
looking
from
at this, like,
last
my
week.
children's, look, my children's pile of shit. Like, this that caught my eye. I'm gonna, like, clear that out. Like, God. There's just so much things going on there. It's just mad. That's,
Well, see, you
that's
got
the
kids too,
best.
because you got the three girls, right?
Yeah, the house never gets cleaned up, and then they keep buying things, and oh my god, it's just madness. And it's not me; it's this thing called the grandmother, and it's a different dynamic, with she and me. She never buys a lot of things for me, but she and the grandparents, oh my god, every single week they come back with something new, and then the house gets cluttered, and you know how kids are, right? They play, and then like, oh, I don't want it anymore, and so this is what happens. We have a bunch of pens and markers, and oh god, I think I'm
Well,
gonna,
you know what? I've
yeah,
heard some people, they actually begin to get their kids involved with the process. Like you said, you do the spring cleaning and maybe get them just on like a small level. Like it could be a broken pencil or a crayon, but just to begin to get them in that mindset of actually, okay, mommy's going to do her spring cleaning. So what are some things that you can do spring cleaning as well?
yeah. I think I need to get them to get involved. Otherwise, they have no idea how much things they actually have.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, what other things we can do to not end it with a disorganized year? Clear our tables, clear our physical files, our promotional stuff, our business cards, um, clothes, shoes.
Clothes, shoes, you know, also, think of different ways to organize the receipts because the receipts can get a little out of hand too, whether you scan them or, do other things so you don't have all that physical pile, especially at the end of your fiscal year, trying to organize them. And then just trying to think of ways where you can begin to incorporate doing things a little bit at a time so you don't have a huge pile on your desk or
So,
other places in your home.
actually, being organized is really having a system, isn't it?
Yes, it is. That's all it is. It's having a system and being able to put your hand on something the first time you look.
Ah,
Mm.
but that requires memory too, right?
Well, not necessarily, because if you develop a system, for example, my closet, where all my clothes are, and I have like all my black shirts together, all my skirts together, all my suits together. So at least I know they're all in one section. So then if I want to wear a suit, I'll pull out a suit. If I want to wear a black shirt, I'll pull out a black shirt. So it's having a system. And same thing with my office supplies. Have a container with all of my office supplies, like my pens, my my ink for my printer. So I know that container, which is labeled office supplies, has all those office supplies. And the same thing, with my Christmas decorations. I know my containers that have Christmas decorations, that's where all the Christmas decorations are. So it's just having a simple system like that. Now, some people, want to take it a little bit further because they have a lot more things. Like I know some people, they have those because like I have a friend, she hosts parties all the time. So she's got napkins and tablecloths and all the other things. And she's just got them nicely labeled and organized in a closet. Whereas I don't entertain as often. So I've got like a little box with a couple of candles and maybe some napkins, and that's it. So it depends on how much stuff you have as well.
So sounds like containers might be something good to invest in to keep the place neat and tidy and organized as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah, I love containers. I like clear containers. I like labeling them containers as well. And then sometimes, depending, you can get colored containers, maybe give each child a different color if you wanted to, so they can contain their own stuff. Also, I sometimes get the decorative ones. I get like wicker or maybe a color, depending, and put things in it as well. But I love containers because once it's in the container, you know what's in there, and then you can just pick whatever you want out of it. So, and
Yeah.
it also helps you maintain your supplies too. So you'll know, oh, I've got at least three cartridges of ink in the container. And then when you get to one, if you want to go shopping, etc., you can do that and, you know,
Yeah.
replenish your supply.
Yeah. That's true. And it keeps it easier if you decide to
Hmm.
move into a bigger house can just
Yeah. Yeah. And then sometimes it's looking at things differently. Like, I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but see, this is actually a spice jar, but I just put paper clips in it and
Mm.
put it on my desk. So sometimes it's looking at things just a little differently.
Yeah, and you recycle and you reuse the things as well.
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. Well, so before we let you go, is there one simple tip that we can use so that we don't, sometimes we tell ourselves, oh, it's too difficult, and then we give ourselves excuses. So what's this one simple tip that you can give us to keep ourselves organized on a day-to-day basis?
I think if you want to really kind of just maintain organization throughout the year, just always remember if you spend 1 hour every week getting organized, that's 52 hours a year. 1 hour, that's it. So that could be, for us in the US, we get a lot of circulars and junk mail. So that could be just making sure you get rid of that stuff, making sure, or it could be sometimes just deleting voicemail messages, deleting emails, or when you go out, also, if you buy something new, consider getting rid of something. It could be maybe you buy yourself a new can opener, get rid of the old one, it doesn't work, or maybe donate it somewhere. Same thing, you buy a pair of shoes, maybe donate a pair of shoes. Just keep things moving. It's like the cycle.
Yeah, and you keep the flow as well. Otherwise, it becomes stagnant energy.
Yeah, just keep things flowing. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Keep things flowing. So I suppose every single day, the thing is to keep the flow going.
And that's what it is. Keep the flow going. And also for the women, also make sure you please organize your purse. Keep your purse organized, because if you want flow of money, you need to have an organized purse, specifically an organized wallet. You too, please. Yes, you need to. Yes, keep the wallets, the briefcases, whatever, the bags, the carry-all bag, and specifically when you go to a meeting. That really bothers me when I go to meetings and women are just pulling all this stuff. They're pulling the toys and everything out, and it's like, just keep that organized.
Okay.
Because you want things to flow to you, and that's why I'm saying it, because you want things to really flow to you. Because someone did say that clutter repels money, so we don't want to repel any money anymore. No.
Awesome. That's great advice. We're gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. I mean, my girls are on a 1.5 month break, so we have a lot of time to actually figure that out. So thank you so much, Janet, for your time. I'm going to leave your contact on the blog, but quickly, what's your website?
It is janetmtaylor.com.
Awesome. I'm going to leave all the contact details on the blog and on the site, wherever it is. But yeah, so thank you so much for your time. You have a great good night, a great weekend. No, is it weekend? No, we just started the week, so have a great week.
Yeah, we starting the week. We're going into our Thanksgiving week here, so everybody will be like, so everybody will be on we're in like a 3-day work week this week, so everybody's cramming everything in. So yeah,
but now it's like holiday season, nobody's really wanting to work, isn't it?
Well, yes and no. I mean, everybody's trying to, because we're getting your Thanksgiving, so everybody wants to try to cram everything in before like that last week of December, because once Christmas is here in the United States, nobody works after that. Yeah, everything shuts down.
I think now it's like holiday season. People are in a holiday season mood. They're like slowing down, calming down. So this is a great way to actually also end the year, to get rid of the old and welcome the new.
Welcome the new year. Yeah, new year with a new space with less stuff, so you can kind of have that flow.
Awesome. So if you need to organize yourself and you don't know what to throw out, then please contact Janet. And if you're in the States, well, that's so easy. Just give her a buzz and she can definitely help you out. So thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon. And thank you for watching, and I will catch you soon as well. All right.
Thank you. Bye.